If you're running gcp-cloud-nat with auto-allocated IPs, you're one traffic spike away from your entire application going dark, and I've seen this take down production systems at 3 a.m. more times than I can count. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Network Ninja Cloudcast. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into gcp-cloud-nat with my co-host Alex.
Hey everyone, I've been working with cloud-nat for a few weeks now, and honestly, I thought it was just set it and forget it infrastructure. Sounds like I was wrong?
Oh, you're about to learn why that assumption has caused some very expensive outages. Today we're covering static IP allocation and port exhaustion prevention, two things that will save your job someday.
Okay, so let me ask the obvious question. I set up cloud-nat. My VMs can reach the internet, everything works. What's the actual problem I should be worried about?
Here's the scenario. Your private VMs need to call external APIs, maybe Stripe, Twilio, or a third-party data provider. cloud-nat translates their private IPs to public IPs for outbound traffic. But here's the catch. Each NAT IP address has roughly 64,000 available source ports for planning purposes. That's the ephemeral port range from 1024 to 65,535, which gives you 64,512 ports mathematically, though actual availability depends on your mapping configuration.
Wait, so if I have hundreds of VMs all making outbound connections, they're all sharing those same ports on the NA IP?
Exactly. And it gets worse. By default, cloud-nat allocates 64 ports per VM. So if you have a VM making lots of concurrent connections, say a microservice calling multiple external APIs simultaneously, you hit port exhaustion. Your connections start failing with timeout errors, and your logs show nothing useful because the failure happens at the NA layer.
That's terrifying. So how do I actually calculate if I'm at risk?
Simple math. Take your NAT IP count, multiply by roughly 64,000 available ports, then divide by ports per VM. With the default 64 ports per VM and one NIP, you can support about 1,008 VMs as a rough planning figure. But here's the trap. That assumes each VM only needs 64 concurrent connections. A busy application server might need 500 or more. And keep in mind, actual capacity varies based on your allocation method, so always monitor real usage rather than relying purely on theoretical calculations.
So the fix is just adding more NAT IPs?
That's part of it, but here's where static IP allocation becomes critical. By default, cloud-nat uses auto-allocated IPs, which means Google assigns them dynamically. The problem? Those IPs can change. If you're calling an external API that requires IP whitelisting, or you need consistent IPs for firewall rules on the other end, auto-allocation will break you.
Oh, so I need to reserve static IPs and assign them to cloud-nat manually?
Exactly. In the GCP console, you go to VPC Network, then cloud-nat, edit your gateway, and under NAT IP addresses, switch from automatic to manual. Then you assign your reserved static external IPs. The documentation recommends reserving at least 2 IPs for redundancy. Currently, you can add up to 300 per NAT gateway with manual allocation, but always check the current GCP quotas documentation since these limits can change over time.
Got it. But what about the port exhaustion piece? How do I prevent that?
3 strategies. First, increase the minimum ports per VM. In your NAT configuration, you can adjust this value. But here's an important detail. The ports per VM must be a power of 2. So you're looking at 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048, 4096, and so on up to 65,536. For high-traffic VMs, I typically recommend starting at 1024 ports per VM and monitoring from there.
But wait, if I give each VM more ports, doesn't that mean I can support fewer VMs per NAT IP?
Exactly right, and that's the trade-off. This is where strategy 2 comes in. Enable dynamic port allocation. This is a game changer that was added to cloud-nat. Instead of statically assigning ports, you set a minimum and maximum range. VMs get the minimum by default, but can burst up to the maximum when needed.
Oh, that's smart. So a mostly idle VM uses minimal ports, but a busy one can grab more temporarily?
Precisely. You configure this with min ports per VM and max ports per VM. Remember, both values must be powers of 2. I typically set minimum to 256 and maximum to 4096 for most workloads. The third strategy is actually about understanding endpoint-independent mapping, and this is where a lot of people get confused.
What do you mean?
So here's the thing. When endpoint-independent mapping is disabled, which is the default, cloud-nat can actually reuse the same source port for connections to different destination IP and port combinations. This increases your effective port capacity. When you enable endpoint-independent mapping, the same source IP and port is used regardless of destination, which actually reduces port efficiency. You should only enable AIM when specific protocols require it, like stun or turn for WebRTC applications.
Oh wow. So enabling that feature actually makes port exhaustion worse, not better?
Exactly. It's counterintuitive, but keeping AIM disabled gives you better port reuse across different destinations. Only turn it on if you have a specific protocol requirement.
How do I know if I'm actually hitting port exhaustion before it causes an outage?
Cloud-nat exports metrics to cloud monitoring. The critical ones are under the router.googleapis.com/nat namespace. Look for nat_allocation_failed, which shows when port allocation fails, and allocated_ports or port_usage for current utilization. I'd recommend checking the Cloud-nat metrics documentation for the exact current metric name since they follow a specific format. Set up alerts when port usage exceeds 80% of your allocated capacity.
What's the biggest mistake you see people make with Cloud-nat?
Two things. First, not planning for IP whitelisting requirements up front. Teams deploy with auto-allocated IPs, then 6 months later need to integrate with a partner who requires static IPs. Now they have to change NAT IPs, which means coordinating with every external service that whitelisted the old ones. Second mistake is setting ports per VM too low and not monitoring. They see intermittent connection failures, blame the application code, and spend weeks debugging the wrong thing.
Let me make sure I've got this. Cloud-nat has limited ports per IP, roughly 64,000 for planning purposes. I should use static IPs if I need consistent addresses for whitelisting. I should enable dynamic port allocation to handle traffic bursts, making sure to use power of 2 values. I should keep endpoint-independent mapping disabled unless I specifically need it for protocols like WebRTC. And I need to monitor port usage metrics to catch exhaustion before it causes outages.
Perfect summary. One pro tip: if you're running GKE, remember that Cloud-nat port allocation is per node, not per pod. A node running 50 pods all making external calls needs way more than 64 ports. Start with at least 1024 minimum ports per VM for GKE nodes.
That GKE detail alone probably saved someone's weekend.
That's it for today's episode. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
And share this with anyone running production workloads on GCP. This stuff matters.
Thanks for watching the Network Ninja Cloudcast. Go check your NAT port metrics right now. See you in the next one.